slow.
You do have 7.
Seven, I have 7 too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, ours is not.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's Monday, May 12th, 7 PM, Cohasset Board of Selectmen. I want to thank everybody in town, first of all, for re-electing me to the Board of Selectmen. It's my honor and privilege to serve, and I want to welcome Kevin McCarthy, our newest member of the board. Well done, great job. And also, just thank Fred for his amazing service to this town. I hope he stays engaged. He served on the Board of Selectmen for 15 years, and before that was a water commissioner and a member of the advisory board. His
Chair for 2.5 years.
chairman of the advisory board.
And that was tough times with schools too.
That's right, and there were a lot of important
And he
votes
still-
that he
yeah.
stood firm always for the best interest of the town, and his wisdom is gonna be missed on this board. He knows so much, you know, that institutional memory was very valuable to us and to many of our deliberations, and I appreciated his friendship throughout the years, especially when I first started on the board and was trying to get the lay of the land. Fred was always a very steady and guiding friend, so he will be missed. With that, I'm gonna move on if there's any public comment. No public comment. So absent public comment, we at this point need to reorganize the board.
Chris runs it.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
I guess the issue before you now is the official reorganization of the board. Does anyone wish to make a motion
I
at
would
this time?
like to make a motion to to for chairman, Diane Kennedy. She's 2 years been vice chair, and she's really had a lot of background from that, and she did extremely well. She was top voter on the election, and I think she'll do a good job as chair.
As an incumbent.
As an incumbent,
That's
I
easy
don't
to
know if
do.
you'll get any other votes, but you'll get mine.
Well, I'll second that motion.
Well, there's 2 votes.
So I gotta work the back room now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anybody else?
I guess are there any, is there,
Other you don't have to second actually, when you do
Okay.
an
are there any other
And no
nominations?
discussion, yeah.
Let's see, hearing none, I guess I'd call for
Roll call?
roll call, I guess.
Yeah, it is roll call.
Do I call the names, I guess?
Yes, you
Okay.
do. You do.
I'll start at that end.
Aye.
Selectwoman Jesteby, yes, Jesteby. Selectwoman Kennedy.
I'm gonna abstain.
Selectman Gomer.
Aye.
Selectman McCarthy.
Aye.
301.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Now, you can call for the next vote.
Yes, 'cause I am now the chairman. So I will call for a motion for a vice chairman of the board.
I'll make a motion that Steve Gorman be the vice chair of the Board of Selectmen, Cohasset Board of Selectmen. I think, I look very much forward to his leadership in that position.
Does it get me out a year early?
No, au contraire. I'll second the motion.
Again, you don't have to second it. It's one of the rare times, organizing board.
I had this choreographed with council before I got here tonight, but clearly might have helped if you were here. So I'll call for a vote for the motion for Steve Gomer as vice chairman of the Board of Selectmen. Roll call, Martha?
Aye.
Diane, aye. Steve?
Abstain.
Kevin?
Aye.
Okay. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, so we have a very short and hopefully efficient agenda to run through tonight. And the first thing is the Cohasset Youth Baseball Softball Association. And if there's somebody here representing them, if they could come up. Come on up, Derek. So I do have to say for the television audience that Derek and I grew up together
Yes, we can go
in another zip code.
02062,
We go
right,
way
Diane?
back, yeah. If you could just give us your name and your address, please.
Yep, Derek Grudinskis, and my address is 108 Doan Street.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And we're here to solicit, I believe Sanjay Fernando, who's the president of our league, did solicit Chris, I believe, from an application standpoint, to put forward schedule our all-star cookout that we have. I mean, we've been doing this for 10+ years at Barnes Field. We're trying to get the permit, I guess, is probably the best way to put it, for the nights of June 6th and June 7th, we're gonna have lights. We've done this in the past where we bring temporary lighting, and we run the lights, we play a game till about 9:30, and we close down the game at 9:30, we wrap up and we're off, the lights are off at 10 o'clock. In the past, our only resistance, or certainly maybe miscommunication, has been with one of the abutters, Smudge Gunderson, which happened about 2 or 3 years ago. Sanjay Fernando, who's our president, did reach out to Smudge, and he's amenable to our request. So we've worked that out with the abutting resident. Our cookout is on the 7th, and it's from noon to 3. And traditionally, we have the Cohasset Fire Department come and inspect the grills prior to cooking as well. We figure that's a good safety feature to have. And we do a skills from 2 to 6, and then we run into our game. In the past, we've only had some issues where we've had to extend the night to the 8th due to the fact of weather. So if that's the case, we can certainly talk, because the Sunday, if we have to wrap up the lights a little earlier, being cognizant of the neighborhood, we can certainly work with you folks on that and bring up consideration for that, if the weather does affect us. The only ask in my request would be, for parking, would you folks require a police detail for the Saturday event? Because that's probably our busiest and heaviest event.
Probably. There'll be lots of traffic, being
Yes.
a weekend, and you don't wanna have any problems causing
Agreed.
liability. That's the only, for your protection.
Sure, no, and I agree, and I've worked the event,
Yeah,
I've been
sure.
actually the chairman of this cookout now for 4 years. I have a couple more, because two of my children are in the NL 6-7 range. But it just seemed, I can agree with that statement, that we can look at least a police detail for the hours, I'd say like 11 to 6, 11 to 7, when there's a higher traffic time.
Just given that North Main Street has a heavy load on it
It's
most
not
days,
Sure.
and the kids are involved in the area.
Yep.
It may seem like a bit of overkill, but I think it's worthwhile.
That's appropriate. We'll make the arrangements with Assistant Chief Dockery to set up the fire detail, and we'll also work with Chief Sylvia for the
Yeah.
police detail on that day.
Yeah.
Other way, well.
Oh, other way around.
Chief Sylvia and Dockery are the fire department, right,
sorry,
so
Chief
Quigley,
Quigley.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things, just to note, this does not require one of our special event applications, which would be required if there were road closings or
Yep.
some real public safety threat. I think the traffic is the only real concern, and obviously the abutting neighbors, and it would probably be worthwhile just to, from the CYSBA, just to reach out to every neighbor.
Okay.
Just to say, this is the plan,
Yep.
and just so that they're aware of it, and there's
Sure.
no surprises.
Now-
Communication's key.
Yes, will do.
Now, the parking, you're too far, well, actually, if, because of the construction of the senior center, it's hard for parking there. What about behind the library? No, the library's open. The closest parking area would be the music circus.
Music circus or in
If
the
you
past.
have, if you're gonna have, I don't know what you've had in the past. I'm just trying to help you guys.
Sure, some of the overspill has parked across the way on, I think, is it Wheelwright Park right there, in that parking area?
Oh, Leeway Park,
Yeah,
oh,
we
okay.
usually have our
I
overflow.
forgot about it,
Yeah,
yeah,
overflow
that's good.
usually goes there
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
during the season, and I anticipate that's probably where the folks would first start.
Good, good, because we don't want you to have any problems.
No, certainly not. So
So does-
it's our biggest day of the year besides the parade.
Thanks, Derek. Does anybody wanna make a motion just to approve the, CYBSA, All-Star Weekend for June 6th and 7th?
So moved.
I'm sorry, second.
Alright, all those in favor?
I'm just not sure what needs a second and what doesn't.
No, it's just the,
What
right, everything else does, thank you. Alright, so we have a motion, it's been seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
You're all
you very
set.
much,
Hang
appreciate it.
on, they're used to you and I debating a motion.
Right, I know, that's true, they're slow on the uptake. They'll catch up, Martha.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right, town manager update.
Just a couple of quick things. There was a small technical issue with the sewer plant today, which is now resolved.
I'm sorry, small
Technical problem.
technical, oh.
I was actually just visiting it recently with the chairman and staff, and it's all seems to be under control, so things are good. We know there was a small water main issue on Saturday across the post office. That has also been resolved. So little things happen sometimes, but it's nice to know that everything got addressed very quickly and completely. So there is a copy for everybody if you want one. There's a finance training class sponsored by the Department of Revenue on June 5th for newly elected and appointed members of boards that deal with finance. So if anyone is so interested in going, it's out in Worcester. And I seem to go there every other week these days. So I'm gonna go. I know Karen had expressed an interest in going, so I registered her. And I don't, if anyone else wants to go, let me know. We could carpool if you want. Or
What day of the week is June 5th?
think it's
Thursday.
a Thursday?
Well, that's this week, is it?
It's
Oh, June,
It's
I'm
June.
sorry.
No, it's not till June.
Okay. I might, depending.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just let me know if you, and then I'll have Tracy send take care of the registration. And that's the quick update. So
Nothing else tonight?
no, there'll be more.
Okay.
I have much more coming. So.
Excellent.
But I figure we'll keep it light tonight.
Great, thank you. So we'll move on to selectmen comment period, Martha?
Yeah, activities in Cohasset this week. The Community Garden Club has on Saturday has a yard sale for new plants at the Historical Society, and they're plants that have been from all the members' gardens, and these is a very good. And Leonora has been involved with this. She's a former president of the of the garden club, and you get good value for little money. So it's 9 to 1 o'clock.
Are there tomato plants?
Yeah, we have somebody that gives us a whole bunch of tomato plants. And then today was Junior Gardeners from our garden club. We have it at the Deer Hill School, and this is the last session. And they made arrangements with dry things. We have about 30 young children there, and we had a long waiting list this year. And it meets about 8 months. We do a lot in the schools. We have that. We do something in now we have a new project in the junior high, middle school, and then we have a student that's graduating, and as a project, is the courtyard, he's doing something there, so we're covering the schools, the whole schools, and it's very, very helpful. And the last thing, which I think is very important, and we sent, the Historical Society sent a notice to the Mariner, which they never printed. Chris is going to give a lecture Wednesday night on history. At 7:15, 7:30, and we have lots of goodies too, to eat.
What history is that?
beforehand.
The
I was-
history
I
of?
was talking about my family history and some of my researching stories. So
And you see, he's back to
Interesting.
the Mayflower on both sides.
one side.
And he's kind of related to certain people here in town on different things, Lothrop and all kinds of stuff, so,
That explains why you wanted to come.
Exactly.
It's the lure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I felt the magnetic pull of the past.
Has there ever been a junior, senior?
We only allow one name once in a family, and then it
Thank
gets
God
used
for
again.
that.
Then I-
Chris Senior, Junior?
Yes, I could.
Oh, well,
Chris Senior, Senior. I
Yeah.
could get Tourette's or something.
All right, are you,
well, I just had one other thing personally. I was searching for something, and I found these beads, and it reminded me of a trip that I had years ago, and this was to Cuba. And I know it was very good. It was terrific to go there. And we had to circumvent to go there. But on the larger sense, and we're talking about all kinds of countries being invaded and upheavals all over the world, the people there are quite hopeful that someday we'll see America as a force. We met with Raul Castro then too, who was very, very interesting. This is 15 years ago. And it was a very interesting trip. We met with other people, and Papa Hemingway's home there, they had it preserved. But I think it gives us pause to think what's going on in the world, and we in Cohasset are so lucky to have the United States. We can allow debates, people yell at each other, emails, all kinds of things, newspapers. But if you go to a lot of countries, and we've been to a lot, we went to one, they counted our money going in and out. And we should be thankful that we have Cohasset and we can do things. And I think it's time we should remember some of this, particularly when we're starting a new year on the Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Martha. Thanks. Kevin, I'll go down to you. Any comments?
No comments?
All right. Steve?
Oh, do I have comments?
Bill?
No, I first and foremost, I want to thank the town at large. It was one of the largest election turnouts in my memory, short of any vote on an override. And on a otherwise enjoyable day to be outside and find any number of excuses not to come in to town hall and vote, we found just the opposite, that citizens opted instead to speak. And that is very much appreciated regardless of how you voted. Which brings up the second part of it, and I'll extend my congratulations to Kevin on my left and Diane on my right. I want to echo, or I'd like to take the opportunity to echo Diane's opening comments and simply acknowledge Fred Coed's 20-plus years dedication so far to the town. He devoted his time in a variety of capacities over these past 20-plus years, both elected and volunteer positions, and if there's a model that anyone might want to follow, it is that type of service, and I want to say thank you.
And it takes its toll, you know, so it's
Well,
not
I
without
also
a lot
want
of
to
sacrifices.
talk a little bit about Fred. Fred, as last year, what he was doing, not only was he working very diligently on this board, he was involved with a myriad of other boards outside of here. And he brought back a lot of legal stuff that because he's been doing things on the state level, that was very helpful for other things. His, I remember when he was on the advisory board, there was a problem with the schools, and he stood fast with the budget and everything, because years ago then, we didn't have the law that you only voted the bottom line. The schools brought their own, and you had to take it, or you could do that. He helped with the finance, with the other members and the school board to make something so that the town would be able to vote for it and not have rancor or overrides or something. And he was very adept at doing that particularly. And then he had the crisis in the water department. People in Jerusalem all had no water. And they turned on the faucet, and you remember that? Oh, yeah, and he did that. And then he became on the Board of Selectmen, and he is a quiet person. He's very unassuming, but he can get things done. He knows how to work with people and so forth. And I know he'll be with, because we're losing a wealth of knowledge, and a lot of us are new on the board. And I happen to have some background, but boards need people, need one or two that have some background just to keep going. and I'm sure you all will do well. I mean, Chris is excellent, and he's good at giving information, and there are other people that have been former selectmen that can help too, but he will be missed. I don't know what he'll be doing now. I haven't talked with him since the election.
Thank you, Martha.
Mhm.
So just a couple of things, we have a meeting scheduled next week and also the following week, and, Chris and I are gonna meet later this week to, start building agendas a couple weeks
good.
out, so if there's anything that's been kinda lost in the shuffle that you're thinking of, I take pretty good, topic notes, or
I
I
know
have,
you do. I
it's
know
gonna be
you do.
hard to do sitting here, but we'll try to make sure we've got everything kind of on the radar in terms of when we can queue up some substantive discussions about them. So we'll work on agenda preparation, and then next week we'll talk about, everybody got handed out the liaison assignments. We don't have to necessarily change or shift those now, but that's something to look at and see if, especially with Kevin being new to the board, whether there are committees. What has typically happened is you kind of take on the committees that anybody who's leaving takes on. I actually don't like that necessarily. I think we should be a little more organic and maybe shift around, or if Kevin has particular interests, we could swap. So we'll place that on an upcoming agenda as well to discuss. Excuse me. Just a couple other things. Officer Pat Kenny of the Police Department and Acting Chief Bill Quigley are gonna be representing the town of Cohasset, down in Washington DC, when they add the name of Officer Sean Collier to the, National Law Enforcement Memorial. So they're going down there, I think this week, to represent our town. Today, yeah, they went down. One thing I didn't say in the beginning was, the nice thing about being elected to a 3-year term, is, 3 years is short and it's long, depending on, but we'll be around to, renegotiate Chris's, next contract, which is pretty exciting.
We're gonna use rock, paper, scissors.
Chris, yeah, right. And then, on a much more somber note, I just wanted to ask for, a moment of silence for Carmelo Sonny Conti, who, served in the police department for 44 years until his retirement. His son Jack was a long-term retired, sergeant in the Cohasset Police Department. Sonny was a US Army vet, who served in World War II, and when he came home, he became a police officer in Cohasset under Chief Pelletier, and continued for 44 years until his retirement. So a very distinguished service to this town. His family has served this town in many capacities over the years. So we could just take a moment. Thank you. And we have one set of minutes from May 6th. Which I did look at, not with a fine-tooth comb, but I didn't see anything.
Hold on, Tim. Yeah, but I'm just looking for,
Did you look
I
at
got
it,
it.
Martha?
Yeah, I did. I looked at it a few days ago. I'm just gonna recheck and see.
Actually, it brings up a second question. We can tackle it. Do we have any idea whether or not, council got back to us with regard to?
That's a good point. Chris, this in regards to Red Lion Inn, do we have any updates?
Yes.
I tell you what, if you don't mind, can we bring that up? It's under topics not reasonably
Sure.
Yeah, you can
expected.
do that.
You can also go back to my update.
Say that again?
I mean, you could revert back to my update and I could put it in there too.
Right.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You're cool.
It's in there.
was it just a,
According to
we're
the.
not deliberating, so.
No, not deliberating, I'm just updating you. So, there's been a formal, there's been a new person submitted, who has formal experience running, entities of that type, red lion-esque type places. Whose name escapes me, but I believe it's all been, I believe his name's been distributed.
I think there's
But as we
information in
understand it
the
from the,
packet.
according to the ABCC, the owner is the manager of fallback under the law, and Mr. Don asked me to say his last name. Is on the permits for them. They consider him to be, by their requirements, he's the fallback man, the owner.
But he's not allowed to.
Well, according to them, he is.
No, my point is that a non-US citizen cannot be.
They have his filing, and they reported that they feel confident at this point that he's the.
So this is a law that we can just toss aside.
I'm just telling you what they said. Okay, I'm not.
No, Chris, I'm not being argumentative with you. I'm stunned.
That's right, there is a law, you have to
At
be
the-
a US citizen.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
they're the licensing authority, not the town. I mean, we are, but they have the ultimate authority, right? I mean, the town has concurrent authority over local licenses. They have ultimate authority over licenses, and again, that was what the information was given back.
No, I understand that. I wanna make absolutely certain that the full context of the situation is understood
I
at the
understand that.
ABCC.
I understand.
And if it's a one-off conversation that you're having, with, town council, I have to ask the
I haven't been
council first.
this has been through ABCC.
Okay.
It's not
Talking
through town
directly
council.
there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because at the end of the day, council just gives advice, ABCC does the regulation, so.
no, that's fine.
So the new presumed
Well, some-
applicant needs to go through the
Yes.
process that the Crowder guy went through, which is
Correct.
an investigative background that's handled by the police
Yes.
department,
Yes,
and has that been initiated?
apparently not.
He came in and got the forms, but he hasn't returned them yet.
Okay,
So
alright,
it's
so could we just get
Yes.
maybe frequent updates so we can stay on top of this, and if we
You'll
start
get
to sense
updates-
any issues?
You'll get updates every week unless something happens in the interim.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we didn't vote on the minutes, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Thank you for the update,
No.
Chris.
Okay, does anybody wanna move the minutes of, May sixth, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention, 3-0 to 1. Okay, so we have meetings on the 20th and the 27th. As I mentioned earlier, Chris and I will work on agendas. If anybody has agenda items, send them to both Chris and, I see. Oh, in the back, hang on one second. Send them to us and we'll start, like I said, building agendas out. One other quick thing, unless anybody has any objections, and I can't imagine you would, it's a leading question, right? I would like to start off our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. I think we're one of the few towns that don't do that.
That's true, 'cause
And-
they do it at the school board.
Yep, and I think that's something I'd like
That's
to
why
add to every agenda.
Well, you know, I did that, and that brings on another thing, cause I had fights, is what do we do about cell phones? They should be turned off. No one should use it, because anything from that should be, if there's any communications, it's illegal, and it should be brought to the attention of the board and so forth, so.
I'm just
You can
letting you
put a
right now,
basket-
my cell phone is on right now and it says 5 minutes to puck drop. So if that's something that we have to be
Well,
worried about.
Well, normally you've got to turn it off, and tonight, I'll give you a pass,
So,
No,
so,
really,
there-
it's
so
just
there's,
legal,
I've had a,
There's a committee in the state that's been working on this.
Well, I appreciate that, Martha. I will always keep mine on my desk and you can always look at it, but given that I also get relatively frequent messages from my children,
Children riding around in
clients, and any number of
cars.
other things, I would respectfully request that you also recognize that I have to support a couple of households.
Well,
So
that's
from that
true.
perspective,
It's
I'd
true.
certainly like to keep in touch.
But we do have telephones, we do
Right,
have
it's right there.
a telephone
so,
here.
so let's,
We'll
we
see,
can, we can
we'll see.
discuss this further, cause I brought this up at a board meeting in the summer and had, some conversations with town council about
Did you?
about it. The only information that becomes public would be if I said, oh, somebody just texted me and told me something, so.
Yeah, well,
But let's
yeah,
put
I
it on
know.
a future
Well, I know
agenda.
it's a conundrum, but people in the audience have seen people texting us something. I don't, because I pay attention to what I'm doing.
Right, we'll put it on, we'll have the discussion at
And
a,
I'm only bringing
future
it
agenda.
up because, I don't wanna get any more calls about it from people.
Sure, absolutely, we'll discuss it, I'll make sure it's on a
I'll leave mine at home and it's easier.
agenda. It's not on here, but if there's any, I know there was somebody in the back who would like to be recognized, if you could come up here.
Yeah.
Please.
Just a quick, Paul Shore, 155, sorry.
Yeah, but Paul, you know what?
Paul Shore.
Rules and rules.
Right, right, well, the viewers at home would like to.
They don't wanna see your legs.
Yeah, right. He's got
I'd
short
rather
shorts
not.
on.
The House Ways and Means Committee is gonna come out of budget, send out their budget on Wednesday. And the final available time for any amendments from the Senate is Friday, so if there are any individual items for the town, contact Senator Headland. These are
Oh.
typically small capital items for the town. He
Throw in
said-
some pork,
What's that?
throw in some
Throw
pork.
in some pork, exactly. This is the time to do it. It's a bit short, I'm sorry, I was delayed because
Yeah.
I would have been here earlier, but I had to take my son to the, home from baseball. They won. But the time is short. If you have any individual items that are in town, that are typically small capital items that could get through the Senate as an amendment to the current budget
By Friday, thank
by
you.
Friday, okay?
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
I don't have any topics not reasonably anticipated by the chairman, so I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you very much.
Okay.